Good morning on my behalf and on behalf of my colleagues back from Slovenia. They send you all the best greetings from our institute. And we are very glad, and it was our, let's say, that we accepted the invitation to participate in this event really with pleasure, because somehow we realized, especially nowadays, in the era of changes, this is what is really important, that we create actually significance. Next slide, please. And what is really important for us, people living in a special area of certain nature and cultural value, is that with our work, love and passion and being, actually we create places that have a significance for us. And this is, next please, the basis of our development, since the town that our institute is located in, and actually the town where the certificate at the national level was born, is Ajdovščina. It's, let's say, the center of economy and culture of the very nice valley, very important valley for the local agronomy, tourism, and even technology. So actually, we are very proud that our ancestors hold on this heritage, which is technical heritage and cultural heritage, and also democracy. So the first government of Republic of Slovenia was, yes, established in this town. So we are very proud of it and try to keep our heritage alive through our work. So next slide, please. As I mentioned, the town of Ajdovščina, actually, of the whole municipality, is located in the eastern part in the western part of Slovenia, and borders with Italy. And it has 245 square kilometers, so it's quite modest. Next slide, please. And yes, we do share with the whole country, we do share this potential to have young people starting to have ideas of their own, and us realizing that those ideas and needs are actually our potential for our development. So this individual challenge, next slide please, we developed further on, since on the whole country, as I mentioned, several issues resulted. So basically, starting with low rate of employment, which is really increasing lately, and unequal opportunities for young people. So it's quite evident that low level of participation and of course low level of self-esteem and, so let's say, independent life was noted in the past years. So next slide please. So that's why it was like a tool to encourage society to do something. And this tool actually was not just like a list of wishes, but actually an agenda, how to do it. So how to decide a strategy, how to prepare this document, which is mandatory, or even better, why these municipalities? Because not just the mayor, which lasts for 4 years, but the entire structure and societies that are engaged in the work of with municipality actually commit that they will follow everything is necessary after receiving the certificate. So the certificate actually, yes, is a medal that we have done the work, but it's actually the system of support, assistance, and incentive. Because you know, we have a proverb that you can easily get asleep over the golden medals and the titles that you are given. So actually, then the really work actually starts. So our next slide, please. Our mission actually is to train municipality workers and to present them with various possibilities, and then they apply for the certificate. So our special commission see whether there is a potential, what has been done, what they are supposed to do in the future. So then the Commission decide whether the certificate can be given, and also at what levels. Next slide, please. And this is actually the process. After the certification, actually every 2 years our institute is doing the assessment. And then, as previously we heard an excellent explanation, why is this so important? To see where we are, to see what improvements have we been doing, and even more, what can we do even better, you know, to start to think about innovations and to listen at the same time to young people with changing ideas, changing challenges, so to be more connected to our civil society. So even counseling and final assessments after the 4 years, when municipalities can actually be approved that the certificate is prolonged for another 4 years, or they have not been doing properly, so we, let's say, keep the certificate in a frozen state and still encourage them to participate in our counseling and training, so we find a better solution. So next slide, please. And it's not just about the certain population, which is our core, of course, but when we realize that by doing with this lovely group of people, 15 to 29, which is by definition called young, actually we create our society. It's for all ages that can benefit from these procedures and this strategy that are implemented. And of course we try to cover vertical and horizontal youth policy as well. So please, next slide. Because young people actually start a new life, and we are supposed to encourage them to do that. So through this presentation I have started with tools that are available for them at the authority level, let's say, at the municipality level. So what can we do to encourage this passage, or even what are our tasks? Preparing the next slide, please. So we discovered 8 fields that are of major interest at Slovene municipalities, and we are focused through the certificate in the assessment of the policy, that in the strategies, whether the goals were reached or not, and what are the improvements, what are the state of the art that will be shared with other municipalities. So next slide, please. And we will just slowly go through the first, through all the 8, and the first is youth participation. I will show you later also some initiatives how to encourage the youth participation from the very early age. This is the first and very important part, because young people are trained how to do the proper participation, not just to express wishes and to complain, but actually to have the proper tools to address issues, to find the connections, to prepare, let's say, projects or even demands for the authorities. So we help them in any way we can, and we encourage municipalities as well to do that. So next slide, please. And we realize that from the very beginning, young people and also all the other adults, we are very sensitive to what you concluded, that we need to see the results, or sometimes I say, or very concrete promise of the result that will happen in quite prosperous period of time, you know, not just sometimes. So the systematic arrangement in the consideration of the youth field is very important. So we established the stepping stones by this systematic arrangement that we demand our municipalities to put in place. So the local youth act and local strategies are actually not just paper for some, let's say, officials to put it in a drawer, but they have a meaning. And of course, young people with their own institutions know what are the agendas of it. So next slide, please. And as was earlier also mentioned, education policy, of course, it's present because of the national legislation and necessities on state level, but it is encouraged through the certificate to do for the municipality, to do something more, you know, something out of the ordinary. Schools are okay, perfect, but can we have something more oriented toward the local people, their natural and cultural heritage? So, you know, to also through this to develop the sense of identity and the power of belonging to our significant place. So, further on, please. Mobility policy actually has been proven through all the 8 sectors. It's the channel which can be very, convenient to address climate changes because it's not affecting just youth, but also all other generations in municipalities. And through the youth programs, other people can participate and are willing to cooperate as well. So now there are meetings in Slovenia how to prepare municipalities to do this step, to be much more involved in sustainable mobility. So next slide, please. Of course, the employment is also a key issue because however our sustainability plan might be perfect and we have enormous wishes of everything to be very nice and neatly done in the future, if we do not have people who are realized through their job, who have their economical needs covered, then our sustainability plan is a bit vague and probably our results are questionable. So this is also a key issue for all municipalities to be addressed. And having them working together, because all these municipalities know each other and know our institution, and we work as a mediator, we connect other civic society, other entrepreneurs, businesses from different parts of the countries to help to find some initiatives how to encourage further employment of young people. And of course, municipalities provide scholarships, provide subsidies for entrepreneurs or for other companies to have young people employed, and besides trainings and everything. So next slide, please. Of course, the housing policy, as was earlier also mentioned, is very crucial, especially nowadays, where the time when we, let's say, start to develop our own family and have the need for our own house. This time actually is prolonged in Slovenia, and to have the apartment of your own, well, it's quite tough. It's for majority, it's very nice dream still, but many municipalities, especially those who received certificate, have really done a lot to, let's say, really economically sustain the needs for housing for youth. So, and the information, not just for youth to share, you know, for all the channels that are available, because on two levels we reach this information. Also, the entire municipality lives with the programs, with the results, with the events that we develop. And the municipalities that receive the certificate receive also this nice sign, which is placed in front of the municipality. And yes, it's very important because this information, let's say, it's very basic, it's key. People can read in the newspapers and watch television, but every day when local people walk beside the municipality seeing this sign, this is like a promise put in place, you know. The mayor and his or her staff, they say, we promised. And this is an obligation that we are looking for. So for now it's very successful. And all the municipalities are also helped with skills how to make this communication even more successful. So next slide please. And as I mentioned, the organization of youth. So our institute, whenever we start a new strategy for certificate in one municipality, we do a survey how those young people are organized, whether there are some other needs, whether they follow national policy, whether the youth councils are already established, and how to engage them in joint work with us. So youth organizations in all municipalities are really of very, let's say, important presence, especially when they have developed youth centers or any other, let's say, facilities. And our institute this year will start with also another initiative to have not just youth in general organized with belonging to several institutions, but to engage in special work young, people who will be elected as a representative of the nation on the municipal level. So they are like councillor of the municipality, they have this political issue, but we, regardless the political party, we will, find out all the young people that are politicians in the municipality and have a special club for those.
National-wise.
Yeah. So this will be this year task. So, to promote this youth policy, not just with the municipality in general, but also directly with the people who are involved in the politics as well. So next slide, please. Yes, and when we capture our hope, because yes, the youth, it's not just an empty phrase, actually youth are the hope, especially in our era today. When we embrace this hope, we need a promise that we really create opportunities for youth. So next slide, please. And in Slovenia, we were very happy that this national certification process is is developed and it's implemented under the patronage of our President of the Republic. And last October, our institute received a special certificate, special award for 10 years of doing this. And the President of the Republic expressed publicly the importance of local governments, local self-governments for the development of the society in the country. So next slide, please. And this is the last year's result. So altogether last year, 5 new municipalities were awarded with a new certificate, and 5 actually were 5 awarded and 6 having certificate prolonged. But since the year before was the epidemic year and all ceremonies were banned, so we gathered all together last October in this nice ceremony. So this is 16 mayors actually being very happy. Either 7 new that received a new certificate, and 16 that were having their certificate prolonged. So among 212 municipalities in Slovenia, 35 are awarded with a certificate, and they are in the process of implementing strategies and evaluating it at the same time. So next slide, please. And having the responsibility to do the proper work that we are, next slide please, actually doing. So we share our good examples from our municipality. This is the program for secondary schools to encourage the employment policy. So this is called the job shadowing. Students from the secondary school decide what job should they study, have, or to decide for their future careers. So they go for one day to the institution that supports their needs. They provide certain information so they can decide what to do, what to study much more easier. And in this program, institutions participates voluntarily, so they are mentoring them, they establish contacts, young people can actually apply for scholarship there or even decide for some summer jobs and so on. So the program is supported by the municipalities. So now the program started also into other municipalities, not just Ajdovščina, but to neighboring municipalities, so let's say we enlarged. And also this year, my modest wish, let's hope it will be true, we would like to establish a social responsible network of municipalities, schools, and certain very distinguished employers. So we will have this job shadowing moved a level further on. So next slide, please. But so as I discussed, we had very important youth program that starts very early age in the kindergarten. It's called Youth on the Bora Wind. So this Bora wind, actually, it's our typical natural feature of Ajdovščina. It's a very strong wind, so we like to say that our character also is shaped because we have to be very resilient. But still, it's the wind of change, not just to be there when changes happen, but actually to create them for the best. And we, of course, agree that knowledge is very important, but knowledge is important to develop proper skills, sustainability skills that for 21st century are obligatory, otherwise we are stuck. And we have attitude because we need actions. And all in this program, children are asked to do activities in 4 fields: solidarity, employment, lifestyle, and society. So they are, on a bigger scale engaged. So next slide, please. They do these diaries collection of reflection of opinions, and besides having fun, they realize what is really important: the responsible attitude and proper skills. So next slide. And that is why we are doing these opportunities and challenges and possibilities for young people, because our place is of significance, because we create our home and then our community can be alive for creation of the society. And we just know the last, so the network of spiders. In biology, this is called, if we put just the network back with the dots, yes, the letter from before. So the substance, the protein that is in this spider's net actually is the toughest thing that is known in nature. And with that slide, I would like to wish that our network, starting with our project, should grow, let's say, bigger and stronger, and of course with the purpose that actually with all that was mentioned and will be, we create our society that will be resilient and will be good. Thank you.
That's a powerful finish. I'm really glad that we have prolonged the time of the coffee and questions, because we still have 15 minutes, and that includes coffee.
Wow.
So think about that.
I have one question to Ms. Debevec. It was, I saw that you had some sort of, let's say, a program for encouraging the self-employment of young people, and I saw some vivid photography of, I don't know, people with masks and probably medical equipment. Anyway, I wanted to know an example of what kind of, how this employment is actually encouraged, what steps are taken, like for example, I'm creating the possibilities to get some practice or other
So thank you. Yeah. So the slide that you have seen actually were a student that wanted to start at the pharmacy, and we arranged a day for her in the pharmacy, in the laboratory where they prepare some creams, and she was involved in the working procedure and she interacted with the people employed in this pharmacy. She had a tutor that explained her how things are going, and yes, their tutors actually were encouraged to offer the proper as other jobs. Actually, our mentors actually are asked to explain the possibilities for some summer jobs, for some practical work to be done. On the municipal level, actually, there is every end of September, let's say a festival of all important employers in the town. And during one day or even 2 days, they present their activity, and in a very attractive way. Everybody can join these presentations, from kindergarten to adults, and especially students that are supposed to decide where to go, what jobs to take. They are directly in contact with the employers. And yes, there are several even economical initiatives on the state level that encourage businesses and public institutions to employ unemployed young people.
I have a few more questions after to that, because you said something about tutors, but the thing is, do these people who take part in this
Job shadowing, yeah?
Do these people have some experience in these jobs earlier, or do they have some courses made, or papers, like for example that you need a paper to be an electrician to work with proper voltage?
So when we started, we are very keen on person that is an expert in the field. So for instance, when we have a person who wants to be a journalist, so we select a proper institution that is distinguished by the work, and we try to find a proper journalist that will be able to be a mentor. Sometimes institutions do have their own pedagogical projects and programs on their own, so they are skillful, and we have, let's say, conversation with them. We discuss what are the obligations, the possibilities. So we are trying to have our own, let's say, modestly training, but counseling process for the mentors. Of course, this is our idea for the future, that all mentors involved in our job shadowing program will have every year some certain aspects covered by other experts who will explain them. But basically we rely on their expertise and responsible work in their own institutions. But in the future, yes, we will upgrade this as well.
I understand. However, what I mean is that some jobs require, this kind of papers, and or maybe the work givers require some sort of these of skills and or maybe not even papers, but concrete skills. And if there is a possibility for these people to learn these skills.
Mm-hmm. So I think I understand what you were trying to say. So to a certain extent, in one day or even two, that you are supposed to have this job shadowing, yes, you are able to see, to experience, to see what skills are actually needed. But for certain jobs, you are immediately told that there are limitations, like criminal officers, even officers in police or medical professions. So, to a certain extent, you are allowed to see, to visit, but further, due to the data information, personal data and so on, so as a student you are not allowed. to do certain tasks, but you are well explained and let's say intrigued enough to follow this path in the further studies still.
The last thing about this employment is at what age these people can attend this job shadowing?
They are third year of the gymnasium, so this is 1 year before they start maturity exams. And we will develop further programs for the fourth graders as well, but the third year it's the proper when you start to think about the future and the future studies.
So it's like 16, 17-year-olds?
Yes, even in the 17, some might even be 18, which is very good. They can attend then the proper court jobs as well, but they are around 17, 18, yes.
Thank you, Piotr, for this block of questions. Let's allow also others to ask. Mateusz?
I have two questions
Yes, please.
for you. If in this framework of Friendly City, you have a special field of actions dedicated to inclusion of young people with fewer opportunities, so young migrants or young people with disabilities also, to make this inclusion, their participation or representation in the municipality equal. And for Bruno, if there are any, like you were talking about the models, methodologies, how to create those youth policies. So are there actually any models, replicable models, that we can research and follow at the international level in English available?
So I will start. Yes, yes. Thank you for outlining this. Yes, we have all municipalities on the national basis. They are submitted to programs how to encourage the let's say minorities' involvement in the society and also migrants, and especially. Institute as a volunteering organization participates in activities of several other non-governmental organizations in the municipality and even in other municipalities. So what I was at my last slide, what was seen actually that the educational program that Institute developed, it is called Youth on the Borawin. One aspect actually is called My Friend, and this focus on My Friend encourage young people to think about and to work towards solidarity and equality and to promotion of equal opportunities for all citizens in the municipalities.
Maybe to answer to Matt in terms of models available. There is a couple of publications from different institutions. I'm remembering, for example, from the European Youth Forum, Council of Europe also has some, but I don't think they come with a recipe book or something already prepared with all the instruments. They allow you to look up on different phases of the process. This definitely, and I think there's different reasons, because I think again, even within the country, the realities of the municipalities are very different. Talking about a 2 million city with a lot of stakeholders, with a lot of civil society quite vibrant, is different to work with a 10,000 city. So again, the methodology needs to be adapted. I think that the framework, for example, the approach of DYPALL, it's adaptable to each, but it needs to be adapted. So, but maybe this could be an interesting work to create a kind of a tool with step by step that should have some variations in terms of adapting to different realities, because it changes a lot in terms of the human resources inside of the municipality, the NGO structure outside. So.
That was actually the topic of our 2-year-long project. Is there one instruction how to make a municipality youth-friendly? And we are sliding towards the conclusion that there are many different answers and many different problems in this field. and there is no simple instruction. Although we have collected publications, and they are applied to different conditions, to small cities, big cities, Western Europe, Eastern Europe. They are applied to, but they are also applying different methodologies, different sets of categories, dimensions and definitions. So it's a very diverse topic. We didn't find it. We are collecting still all the publications published by different sources, and there is no, it's hard to find a common ground to, make it one page, please. Sorry.
We made it 2 pages though, no? And it took us 2 years. Any other?
Make a question. In terms of the label, and thank you for the presentation, because it was, at least for me, was very interesting and very connected also with our work. In terms of the challenges that you're facing regarding the sustainability of the work and the continuation of the work, because from what I understood the process, there is a kind of analysis of what exists, so there's a kind of an expert following the process. How this continuation of the change, how this continuation of the process, what kind of challenge are you facing, if you could identify what are the main challenges of this?
So thank you. Yes, we have identified that even in 10 years, every year municipalities' numbers that are contacting us, not just before their time of evaluation of the process, but even before, they contact us to see, please assess us and advise us whether we are doing okay, where should we be better, So these are the very, flattering questions for us. And they invite us to hold communication meetings also with their youth organizations, because they really want to find the common ground and the common challenges. So through the process of 4 years of certification, we work with municipalities upon their own request, and also, as I mentioned, with other initiatives, how to train the municipality workers that are supposed to implement and promote the certification obligations. So this is a two-way process of working, when we are asked from the municipality to help and when they identify the problems. And the other is then special subjects are presented to the municipalities, to their officers. And this September we will have the first conference related to this topic. So I will kindly invite you all, definitely, so because we are looking forward to international participation, and actually this conference will be a start of the constant training of people involved with youth in municipalities. So I hope I answered.
I would feel that this is one of our most challenges, is to have on the two levels, definitely inside of the municipality, to have people trained to understanding how youth policy works and the importance of it, and not just to be framed on project dimension. But another challenge that we are facing now is that there is many municipalities that are asking this kind of support, and it's difficult to find people, experts, to support them. So now we don't have enough human resources to support the demands of municipalities that are asking our support. So it's also these experts or people that are able to support policy development. It's one of our biggest needs.
Yes, and you are right that it's a nice challenge, but it's really demanding. And it is right that it is like this, because related to what was earlier said, there is actually no recipe. So that's why it's so important that you are focused on the local needs and the local agenda on a municipal level. So that's why probably so important that you have staff that is trained to know how to identify this local identity and how to make the best of the local agenda and needs.